Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Steve Nelson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hope Morris.
Here.
Larry Clark.
Here.
Adrian Sandoval.
Here.
Kim Nelson.
Here.
Michael Cowper.
Here.
Troy Blum.
Here.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a second, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Under audience participation, we have no audience, so I'm going to assume that there will be no participation, with the exception of the water supply plan update. Mr. Rankin, you had comments about that?
Yes, I do. I want to pass before Mr. Hagan had a family matter to deal with tonight. He could not attend. David spoke to him on my behalf, and he will be here on January 2nd. I apologize for the delay. What Brad had asked is if, upon reading the water supply plan, any and all questions you may have, if I could gather those and give those to him in advance so he's better prepared on the 2nd, so we don't delay this any further, obviously, that he'd be happy to address those at this time. Just so the board knows, he sent an invoice for most of the plan, and it's about half of what we budgeted for. So there's probably a little bit more additional, but I think the majority of the plan has been paid for. I have to verify that with him. But it's not costing near as much as we had anticipated to this point. But I'll verify that with him. Any questions you may have, please pass on to me in the next 2 weeks. And I will pass those on, or David will, to Mr. Hagan. So that he'll be on the 2nd. Just a family matter he couldn't get out tonight.
Okay. Okay, we'll deal with it January 2nd. Next, approval of the consent agenda, which is the regular meeting minutes for November 7th, 2017, contract amendments with planning services, services agreement amendments for the code enforcement, financials, and paid bills.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on that. May I have a roll call, please?
Larry Clark.
Aye.
Adrian Sandoval.
Aye.
Kim Nelson.
Aye.
Michael Cowper.
Aye.
Hope Morris.
Yes.
Troy Blum.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Next, action items. Ordinance 761. Mr. Rankin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the administrative exception that I spoke to the board about previously regarding setbacks for accessory structures. Not all properties in Platteville are the same, as you all know. Cater put this together. This is for the residential zone districts in Platteville. It allows basically a variance that gets done administratively with the set criteria. As you can see, if someone does not get an exception and they want to appeal my decision, they'll go to the board of trustees.
Okay.
So it's a case-by-case situation.
If you do make a determination independent of the board, will you do the courtesy of notifying us so that we are aware of what you're doing?
Absolutely. I will.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I would entertain a motion on this subject.
I move to approve ordinance 760, an ordinance of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville, amending Article 5 of Chapter 16 of the Platteville Municipal Code by addition of a new section 16-594 concerning administrative exceptions as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on ordinance 761. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next, ordinance 762. Mr. Rankin.
Okay, the next 4 ordinances deal with the budget. This ordinance, as we do every year, is for the board to set the compensation for the town manager and the town clerk / town treasurer, who are your 2 appointed employees that the board appoints. The salary ranges for 2018 are the same as they currently are in 2017. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Okay, we're ready to roll.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 762, sets the 2018 annual compensation for the town clerk, town treasurer, and the town manager.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on ordinance 762. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next, resolution 2017-28. Do you want to comment on this, Mr. Manager, or we just roll right through?
I do have one comment on this.
Okay, go for it.
So this is, basically you're adopting the budget for 2018 with this resolution for summarizing its revenue expenditures for each fund. I noticed one thing at the bottom of page 1, on the chart sheet, this is total expenditures, that should read total revenues. It's a typo, because your total expenditures are on the backside. I just noticed that today, so I just want to, if you approve the resolution as amended, so we can make that correction. It's not going to change the budget, but I want to correct it. Because we're not going to spend $19 million in 2018, we're going to spend $5 million, we never spend that much money anyway, so. But that's a typo.
I'm sure we're all glad to hear that. $19 million will all be broke.
And just out of curiosity, I looked the last few years. It's like revenue was a little over 19 million. 2016, they're a little over 20. 2015, a little over 21 and a half, just under 21 and a half. And then 2014, just under 18. And as far as our expenditures, last year, about 6.1 million. 2015, 8.4 million. That was a big year. So we started using some of that carryover. And then 2014, 6.5 million. So this is the lowest expenditure we've had in a number of years. But the revenues also have come down a little bit.
Right.
So I just looked at that out of curiosity.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments on this resolution? Okay.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Move to approve resolution 2017-29, a resolution of the Board of Trustees. Oh, am I the wrong one? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I skipped too far ahead. 28, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville summarizing revenues and expenditures for each year and adopting a budget for calendar year 2018.
As amended.
As amended, sorry.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do I need a roll call on this, being this is?
I will.
Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Adrian Sandoval,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Michael Cowper,
Aye.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Troy Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
I'd
Next.
like to say one thing. Troy, I appreciate all the hard work you've put into this budget. Each
All-
year you do a good job.
All the staff chipped in on this. I think
Yeah.
he's doing very good.
Thanks, everybody.
By not spending the money.
That makes me happy.
Thank you very much.
We've been under budget for at least 9 straight years.
Has it been that long now?
It lasts as long as we can.
You betcha. Okay, next, resolution 2017-29. Mr. Rankin, did you want to comment on this one?
This is pretty straightforward, Mayor. It's appropriating sums of money for the various funds, similar but not the same, as the previous resolution. This outlines all the special revenue funds, the general fund, and our 2 enterprise funds. As you can see, it's the same number of expenditures as the previous resolution. It's required by statute.
Okay, I would entertain a motion on this if nobody has a question or comment.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2017-29, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville appropriating sums of the money to the various funds and spending agencies in the amount of and for the purpose set forth below for 2018 as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I guess we'll just take the safe way out and ask for a roll call.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Michael Cowper,
Aye.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Troy Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Adrian Sandoval.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Next, resolution Mr. Rankin, if you care to comment.
By state statute, we have to, the board has to approve the mill levy, the property taxes by December 15th, and I've submitted the form already to Will County today, based upon the mill levy assessment. Our mill levy has not changed, it's 18.385 mills. As you well know, 1 mill of that, per agreement with the library district, goes to the public library. So our total revenues and property tax estimated for 2018 is $656,093.
Anybody have anything on this one? I'll bet Mr. Clark's just chomping at the bit to do this one.
Read this?
Make a motion.
Why, sure, now that I've been voluntold. I make a motion to approve Resolution 2017-30, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville levying general property taxes for the year 2017 and help defray the cost of government for the Town of Platteville, Colorado for the year 2018.
Second. Well, done like a true professional.
Thank you, sir.
I guess I'll ask for a roll call.
Michael Cooper,
Aye.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Fred Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Adrian Sandoval,
Aye.
Kim Nelson.
I had a question.
Sure.
Do we need a roll call for the compensation for the town clerk?
I don't think so, because it's rolled into the overall budget.
Oh, okay,
It's incorporated in the overall budget, which did do a roll call.
okay.
Big
Well,
question.
there's money in.
True.
So I didn't know.
But it was covered another way.
Okay.
An attempt to make the mayor look bad.
No, an attempt to avoid another meeting.
Attempt to avoid that having a holding check.
Right at Christmas time.
Okay, next we have Resolution 2017-31. Mr. Rankin.
Earlier in the year, if you recall, the staff spoke to the board about the water and sewer rates. After a study session, it was discussed about increasing the rates for about 1% for consumption for both water and sewer, and by $1 for base rate for both water and sewer. This resolution reflects those calculations starting January 1, 2018. So, the only thing I want to add is the dollar base rate increase, as I indicated in my report, there's an EQR that we calculate based upon meter size. And I put that calculation in for base rate, so an industrial property like Anadarko is not going to pay $1, and I'm going to pay $1. They're going to pay their equivalent higher rate, obviously, because they use more water. I just wanted to make sure that's clear.
No more than fair.
But this would go into effect January 1, 2018, or January billing cycle.
Okay, does anybody have any comments or questions on this issue? Now, I'll bet Mr. Blum is ready.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2017-31, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville, amending the town's fee schedule as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this. Roll call, please.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Fred Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Adrian Sandoval,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Michael Cooper.
Okay. Next, we have Resolution 2017-32, Mr. Rankin.
Actually, Mary, this is under your purview. Do you want to summarize this for the board?
We, each year, if there are folks in town that have failed to pay their utility bills for a significant amount of time and accrue substantial outstanding balance, those customers are submitted to the treasurer. A lien is assessed against their property taxes, and the funds are collected that way. This year, there are 2 such properties under our utility umbrella, and not necessarily both within the town limits, but still town customers for utility. Those assessments will be turned in tomorrow and assessed when their next property tax bill is sent to them. Then the county delivers those funds back to us.
Is there any type of fee involved with this?
There is a nominal fee for them to collect and then convey the money to us. I think it's 1.5%.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Yeah,
Small.
I'm just curious, it's not that I worry about it. I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
it's not huge. It's similar to the same fee that would be assessed, when sales tax is returned back to the city. There's a fee for the state to collect that as well.
Right. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this issue? I would throw this open to anybody who wants to make a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2017-32, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville certifying delinquent municipal charges to the Love County Treasurer for collection pursuant to CRS Section 3120-105 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do you think I need to get a roll call on this one?
I would.
Okay. May I have a roll call, please?
Troy Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Adrian Sandoval,
Aye.
Kim Nelson, Michael Cowper,
Aye.
Hope Morris.
Yes.
Okay, next, Resolution 2017-33. This is one I always enjoy. Mr. Aiken?
And this one won't need a roll call either, you know that. Per policy or per code, the board authorizes 11 paid holidays for employees. There's 10 actual holiday days when town hall's closed, and then the 11th is a floating holiday. Years ago, the board opted, instead of one of the holidays, to give a floating holiday to the employees if they so choose. Christmas is on a Monday, Tuesday, Thanksgiving's the same. This year, if you recall, we did 2 for Independence Day, so we're doing 1 next year. We're going to bring back Veterans Day for next year as a close holiday for town hall. So, pretty straightforward, but it does adjust a little bit every year, depending on, slightly, for the holidays fall.
I went through here and I did not see Town Clerk Day. Is that a floating one?
We don't really have that. I'd be happy to institute
I was gonna say, establish
And there's
that.
cupcake day, there's a calendar that has
Well,
every day of the year
this
has
was
a holiday.
the Public Works Week, Police Week, and Town Clerk. Called by clown manager. Very like in a day, these 2 the whole week.
They did forget to give that to us this year.
That's on video.
I know.
I'll be living that one down for a while.
I'm going to assume that was not a Freudian slip.
No.
Okay. Does anybody wish to tackle this one?
Move to approve Resolution 2017-33, resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville establishing town holidays for 2018.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Next, Resolution 2017-34. Mr. Rankin?
I'll defer to Mary on this one.
As next year is a municipal election year, you have decided to do a polling place election. A function of that will be to have judges that will be available from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to assist voters, to monitor the voting process, and then at the close of the poll to count those votes. This resolution allows me to delegate who those judges will be. They're sworn in. There's a short training. We generally use a lot of the same people year after year because they know what they're doing. We were able to have Devin's husband, Jose, last year act as a judge/interpreter, which was very helpful. So we intend to do that again. In the past, we've had some of the seniors work partial days because that is a very long day for somebody to sit in this room and smile and be happy and pleasant. So we'll offer that opportunity to them as well and see if any of them are interested in that.
Does everybody have any questions or comments? I would entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2017-34, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville delegating the town clerk/treasurer the responsibility to appoint judges of the town April 3rd, 2018 regular municipal election as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next, cancellation of the December 19th, 2017 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. Mr.
Just to
Manager.
clarify, are we canceling it because it's my birthday that day?
Right, that's exactly.
Are you having a party for us?
Yeah.
So do we
I'm not gonna be working, but,
do we need to make,
You're
stop by the house.
we need to make an amendment on the holidays then?
Dad, you're good. You probably should go ahead and do that.
As it indicates, there's nothing pressing, if it's something that comes up, obviously, have a meeting called right now, there's nothing, can't wait for January 2nd. Typically, in years past, the meetings within a week of Christmas with family holiday plans, we cancel the meeting, unless we need to have it. So it's up to the board. We're gonna have paid bills and financials, we could do the raw water supply plan then, but we already set that for January 2nd. So it's up to you.
I'm all for it.
Mike is for it.
Well, I
We
want
can
to
have a
plug
birthday
in my
for you.
birthday
Should
correctly.
make him come in on his
Show up
birthday.
just for him.
Greg, you in here to say happy birthday?
Unless you guys wanna have a surprise party.
Well, I mean, you'd have to show up.
I don't think we surprise party being a public meeting.
We could record it. It could be fun.
We can make a motion right now to have a surprise party.
You could just show up at your door.
No, I'm fine with it. We don't have any business.
Everybody else good?
Yeah.
We can do it in January.
I would entertain a motion on that.
Move to approve the cancellation of the December 19th, 2017 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I'm really surprised nobody's opposed. Motion carried. Next, utility billing error. Mr. Manager.
There was an error in utility billing, that was an oversight. When I mentioned in my board report, what happened is the front office, Devin and Charlotte started doing an audit, if you will, internal audit of all of our accounts. We have over 900 utility accounts for the town of Platteville. 9 accounts were discovered to have errors regarding the rates on the meters. When the meter goes in or gets fixed, especially a new meter, David probably explained this better, but there's a calculation to put in there. So at times 0.10, is that right?
Typically in the
For residential, and the zero was missing on, there's an adjustment issue. They were caught, it was less than 1% of our total utility accounts. One goes back almost 4 years, one is really just this year, but it's 9 of them, they fluctuate between this year and up to 4 years ago.
Are they all residential?
All residential. Everything's been fixed, they also looked at the streetlight fees, there's a few minor ones there, we actually added some. The sidewalk fees, we looked at those, where they did. And currently Irene is doing an audit of all of her payroll accounts as well. She's finding a few things that I'm going to deal with internally, but nothing negative for the board to deal with. Making sure, it's a big job when you have 30-some employees and they have different types of benefits that they elect on, make sure those amounts are correct. I talked to Kinder about this, and 2 things. One hand, legally, the town of Platteville can go back up to 3 years on back accounts. Politically, it's a policy decision by the board. It is a town error. We own it. Okay, I own it. The monthly amounts really don't add up, but once you add up all 9 for that period of time, a little over $6,000. My train of thought, I put out to the board, is if you did go back, I'd only go back for 2017, or write them all off. Just still the current year budget. Some of those amounts are still pretty high, because some of these water uses are pretty high. But I'm comfortable with whatever direction you have.
Right. They paid some of the water
Yeah.
that they used, just not all of it.
Correct.
Okay.
It's not like they got a free bill.
Okay.
And one customer came in and said, okay, I have to come in. She was honest. She said, this can't be right. And that's what triggered it about a month ago. Then they started doing the audit. So I appreciate her doing that. But there are 9, and they're not in any certain area. And it's simply an honest human error. That's what it is.
Are all of these customers aware of the,
Not all of them, yeah.
okay.
So if we do choose to move forward in collecting at least some of that money, can we make it as painless as possible?
We
It's
can-
not our fault or not their fault?
No, we do a payment plan. We definitely want to work with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
Trey talked to me about it initially, and my opinion was that it wouldn't be fair to just write it off to the other citizens who are paying.
Yes.
But we will not charge any extraneous charges, and, like I said, make it easy as we can,
No
just on the installment.
Right.
Right,
Yeah, late fees, all that down.
right.
And you're planning, I know we're going back 1 year.
My recommendation is to go back 2017, because it is a town area. That would be my recommendation.
Does that cover most of the missed payments?
About a third.
About a third.
Of what we can collect.
Yes.
I don't know, I think we should just write it off. It was our error. I think we should move forward.
And then when I talked to the town attorney, she said it is solely within your purview. Legally, she said you go back 3 years, but she is not recommending doing that, just because of it's set good policy with your citizens.
I would agree with Hope, because it was our error, and what kind of, not a lot of people have that kind of money stashed away. Even if we did a payment plan on them, it still could be hardship on some people.
I think I'd probably agree.
Yeah, if we're only gonna collect a third of it, I don't think it's worth it.
Well, it's not an absorbent amount, and they have to be apportioned.
Right.
If they apportion it annually between water and sewer usage, you're getting over, if I remember the numbers right, close to $800,000 annually between water and sewer fund, and this is $6,000.
And they paid all the base fees and the sidewalks. and
Exactly,
the grass
solely
and everything
usage.
else.
So I
Solely usage.
think it's fair to make sure they're all notified.
Oh, absolutely.
We caught this error, just want you to know the board's not.
I did talk to a couple of them. It was my call to discuss with the board. This is not a set policy, this is a case by case, so everything's been corrected. We're gonna do a much better job. I talked to the ladies in front every 6 months, just do a double check. Every time a meter is replaced, we're gonna have second, third set of eyes on it, just to verify those calculations are put in correctly. I'm comfortable that, we've had some turnover in all departments, including the front office, no excuses, but having more double checks on those things would be helpful, which have been implemented.
Absolutely, everyone makes mistakes.
So, yeah. Sure.
If I can jump in, the computer program that they use normally translates all those numbers when the new meter is put in, that calculation, and for some reason in these 9 cases, it dropped that 0, so instead of a factor of 10, it was a factor of 1. So now we know to go back and double check that, but out of the hundreds of meters we have replaced over the last 9 years that I've been here, we've got 9 of these that have shown up. So it wasn't even, it's not a human factor that they missed the 0 when they were putting the 1 0 in or something like that. The program somehow glitched. So I'm not sure whether, could it have been caught? Absolutely, because we found it. But now we know what to do. It appears like the board is pretty much in agreement on this.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I would entertain a motion on that.
Larry?
What is the consensus agreement? To
To waive the charge.
To waive the charge.
It's one time.
Fine.
And you will contact everybody, so there's no additional stress on your date.
I'm going to initially call them, and I'm going to follow with a letter, that way they have documentation.
Yeah, I appreciate the letter.
Sure.
Writing is
Yep.
wonderful.
Do we need a motion?
Yes, I do.
I'd like, I make a motion to just read the paragraph that's on there.
Waive those.
Or just say that we waive it.
Yeah, you could just say what it is tonight, is the way that these past utilities is one time.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to waive the fees for these 9 accounts, this one time. As presented.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on this issue. I'll just ask for, you want a roll call? Mike wants a roll call.
Yes.
Mine.
It is money.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Adrian Sandoval,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Michael Cowper,
Aye.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Troy Blum.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for keeping me squared away, Mike. Okay. Okay, we made it through all this. Now we have reports. And first in line is our police chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you all received this. This was not in our last report, so just the radio numbers, the report for service for the month of November.
Oh, that's what it does. Okay.
They mail them out at the beginning of every month, and when I submitted my report, it wasn't the beginning of the month yet, so that's why it wasn't actually in there. I don't have anything to add. I can answer any questions. We're hiring right now. Our new hire, who you'll meet next month, is working out really well so far. And have about 6 apps for our officer slot for Sierra, who moved to the schools. So we'll be interviewing them probably in the middle of this month. So hopefully we'll have somebody in the works by the end of the month and then at the beginning of 2018. So we'll see how they go. It's always up in the air.
I've seen a lot of people communication on that Nextdoor app, and there's been a lot of issues on the Rogers Farms, Steve Circle, with some crime over there. And I know, is it you that is responding back to those?
Most of the time.
Okay, that's,
Me and the sergeant.
you're very, you're writing on it, it's very good. So,
Thank you.
it's written very well, and, because there's people that want to attack the town board and the town and the staff and the police force, and, you know, you guys are doing what you can to cover that. Looks like a lot of breaking and entering and stuff like that. Is there a big trend going on over that area, or?
And it's not only there, it happens every year, but, it happens more now. It's around the holidays, everyone's kind of hurt for some extra money or whatever. So I think every year there's a little bit of an increase every year. So it's not just over there in Rogers, it's kind of everywhere, but, it hasn't been hit as hard as it has in other years, and we'll keep on making circles and having all the eyes and ears out there and circles and squares, and what we're able to anyway to avoid it happening more. But there's been a couple cars and a couple of houses. Sad to say that more often than not, they're unlocked. And so a lot of people have this small town, they lock them, but they absolutely do, their cars and their houses. So, yeah, there has been a little bit of a fight on that side.
The other thing I saw, it's somebody brought up today, was the credit card scammer. And I know personally that we've had it happen 4 times this year. And I think it's at that one gas station here in town that it seems like consensus on the communication.
Yeah, and I walked over there, and I went there myself this afternoon, and I looked. And usually, I mean, sometimes it's not right there and it's not real obvious. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's, I don't know, there's all kinds of new technologies to yank your numbers from even your wallet that's sitting in, but there was nothing either at the Everyday Store or Shell that would indicate that there was a skimmer on there at all.
But it's happening, it's under, it's happened to us 4 times this year personally, and we've had to cancel, all of a sudden we're seeing charges in Denver and in Aurora and stuff like that. It's like, well, no, we weren't there, so we had to cancel the card and wait for a new card to come in. But
Yes.
We just got hit, we just got called yesterday, and same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I know we collect sales tax and all the word out there on social media is gonna hurt those companies, it's gonna hurt the town. Is there any way to have, I don't even know if is there a specialist out there who can, I know this is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It just seems really rampant.
Is there something that those businesses can do to reassure customers, or have you talked to the owners and to see what they can?
Yeah, and they're pretty sensitive if you mention their names. They don't want their names smeared. With that said,
And it's happening if people are.
well, that's exactly right, and I've actually went over there and looked myself, like I said, and I didn't see anything, so, and the reality is, the names that are mentioned are the everyday store and the Shell station. That's just reality, but since I went there, there's nothing that's real obvious on these things, so I'm kinda
There's no proof to it.
clearing their names right now, that there's not. I did ask, well, the county sheriff's office if they have any recommendations, and they said, you have to go over there and just look, because it's usually a small little electronic something. But that's why with the new technology, they can be in your wallet, and they can rip off your information.
I'm pretty sure that happened at Harvest Daze. There was somebody walking around doing that as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know it's happened to me a couple of times just in 2017 also, so it's becoming more the norm, unfortunately. There's
Just
only
everywhere.
so much we can do, but, I know, with me, I hide it. When I put my numbers in, I hide it. I don't care if I look stupid or not, but I'll hide it, and, I won't let, even at Walmart, there's surveillance on every register, and I won't hold mine up to where it can record it. I don't know, I'm just superstitious like that. So there's small things that you can help, but it's hard in the act to catch.
Right.
Can you have both gas stations have someone come and check the machines? Because I watched an episode in Denver where they're not outside, that they actually in the middle of the night, they'll go to the gas pumps, and they know how to pop that open, and they'll put it inside the pump or inside the ATM, and you can't see it from the outside.
I let them know that, and then they got super sensitive, and they said, no, but they have to swap out their receipts, the receipt papers, and they said, so they look at it every day when they have to install new receipt in there, and they don't see it. Yeah, they have to open it to get that paper in there.
Is there some kind of tips, tricks, information that we can put on our newsletter that goes out in our water bill, just to let people know, like you're saying, do their due diligence?
I can make something,
take
absolutely, that we can
effort.
attach to the water bills if you guys would like.
Well, I don't know, just like you said, we got to be sensitive with businesses here in town. We don't want to start adding to, unsubstantiated or whatever the case may be. We don't know for sure where it's happening, what's happening, and we can't, just to get a letter, people might start thinking, well, I'm not gonna buy anything in Platteville, I'll start going, buying my gas
Oh, no,
out of town or something
I
like that,
I was more thinking along the lines
So
of.
another consumer
Yeah,
awareness.
consumer alert, not necessarily, I've had my stuff ripped off, not even in this town, it's
Well,
everywhere.
It's not a consumer alert that basically decides that it's an increased criminal activity based upon identity theft and financial fraud,
And, yeah,
and it happens in all locations.
absolutely, no, it's not just this
I
town,
was
it's not
with
just.
CML when I was up there. Mary got a text message asking from me when you heard to transfer $20,000 to my account.
What did you?
You would have heard about that.
You would have been in Platteville.
Mary would've caught it.
Nice work when you can find it.
Wow, no kidding.
But what happened is even before when we went out to have that meal, those, we had two, a waiter and a waitress, and one of them, it just happens.
Yeah.
It happens, they get your identity off your credit card.
Yeah.
And then the Town of Platteville, they wanted my personal account, so they used the Town of Platteville card, so I know which way it was.
A month ago, got a letter from Equifax. Data breach, my identity was compromised. I mean, Equifax, you can't even just keep it.
Yeah, I don't want to, specifically point fingers at anybody, it's absolutely everywhere.
Once you work on something, we'll review it, and get it out, just as a, kind of
Yeah.
a consumer.
Well, and that, and also make sure, like, just to make a bulletin saying, hey, lock your vehicles, lock your doors, lock your windows, because crime is happening, it's everywhere. And, it's part of our responsibility as homeowners, and that we gotta take responsible for, locking our cars and stuff too, so. I think that's important to communicate, because there's only so many people, and, people are gonna commit crime out there, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
So they'll find a way to do it.
Right.
I have RFID sleeves, I put my credit card, so they can't read it on my wallet.
I know
There's lots of things you can do.
some people are looking at doing a neighborhood watch,
I got 'em in
so I see
Montana.
you're gonna try to help set that up on some of those communities.
Sure, I will. I was gonna wait to see if it was receptive, and it sounds like it is. So after the beginning of the year, I'll set up maybe something where we all can meet, and we can all use our heads and work something out, and I think it's a good idea for those who want to have involvement. But everyone, you need to have those who actually want to have involvement in order for it to work.
If that's a neighborhood
Effectively.
watch.
Huh?
Neighborhood
A
watch.
neighborhood watch.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's good and bad things to neighborhood watches, probably more good than bad, but there's a way to do
Yeah.
it, we'll say right, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Friendly.
Yes, and well, we can help with that. We can, I guess, help oversee it or whatever you want to say, so we can help some of these others sleep well at night, because it is ironic, and right now, sometimes it hits in some areas, and then sometimes other areas. Right now, it's just kind of hit and miss everywhere. It's not one central location, I know. On that app, sometimes it seems as if it's one central location, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
One thing I want to bring up, and if it's David and Carl both, is on the spot next door. They do not want it to be an ask a cop or ask a public works guy a question, this and that. We don't want to go down that road. And one thing I just talked recently, actually today, Dave and Carl about is some of the responses back and forth depending on the content. I'm going to pull the town off that social media page because some of it's getting out of hand. So I'm going to monitor the next week. I'm not on it. These two gentlemen do. This is the way it works. And if it gets to the point, I may respond on the account they have saying, we're trying to give out helpful information to the community, but we're not going to be part of some of this
Back and forth.
banter that's not appropriate. They're talking about people personally, and there's certain agendas and bandwagons going on. I'm not going to be part of that down the line.
No, it's so much delivery, so.
It is.
Is that on our Facebook?
No, on the next door.
Oh, yeah, I don't read that anymore.
So-
It's making me mad. You saved me one time.
Next door app. Pull that up.
Well, I do appreciate the diplomatic comments and the effort that goes in, but yes, very
For some of us, it's way more than
You realize
Well,
Oh,
what
no.
happens is they come talk to me first.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well,
And I take over.
I have to,
But I think when you guys post back there, it kind of sets that relief and comfort level for a lot of people, because then it sounds.
I think you're right.
And so I think it's very important that you guys are monitoring that, and that you do reply back at it, within a reasonable time, and I can see that, and then it stops the negative.
it's like they're, kids
Well, when
set
you're out-
boundaries, we all set boundaries, and when we hear from authorities,
Well, usually when there's only 4 or 5 people making comments, they forget there's 200 other people on there. Just like the comments we're making right now. There's 3,000 people watching, could potentially watch anybody. They're watching this tonight.
Makeup.
Anything else for Chief?
Thank you.
Just as a side note, I'm gonna interject, all of these conversations become public record, and we store each and every one of those
Yep.
for the prescribed amount of time before it's deleted, in case there is any kind of legal action against the town.
Oh, now you tell me.
Well, you need to know that before you write something.
We're not
Oh,
having a party
really?
at your house for your birthday.
So the party's over.
So, what Mary's saying
Well,
is,
for trustees, that would apply as well.
yeah, I was
So
gonna say,
be
what Mary's
careful.
saying is if you as a trustee respond on behalf of the board, please don't.
Yeah,
I don't think I said behalf of the board.
No, I'm just saying, it's a liability issue for you as well.
But Troy tells me, I think maybe you recall Chuck, town manager. Okay, I'll shut up.
My only social media activity is Netflix, so.
Good for you.
That's fairly safe. Okay, thanks, Carl and Mary, for the timely advice. Next, we have Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did submit a written report, and I don't really have anything to add to that, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I appreciate and like the holiday decorations.
Oh, yes, they're very nice.
That is very nice.
The
Lots of people comment.
water break off was recompleted, repaired to your satisfaction?
Yes. So, the contractor that hit the line, it was a service line, so it was the home that he was fixing the sewer line on, that he hit the water service for. We provided some slight manpower to turn off the valves, because we knew where they were located, and we had the right equipment to do that. But they supplied the parts and the labor to complete the repairs, and it has been done.
Are you all wondering how much mixing there was?
No.
Now tell now.
We drove past the basketball court the other day on Sunday, the kids are playing there. Be a success.
That thing's a hit.
I heard it's a big hit, Ron, I really did.
I have had the request to get the lines painted on there, and we've bought the stencils for that, but we'll have to wait for the concrete to warm up a little before we attempt to do that at this point. So that'll probably be a springtime project. Then we'll have to see if we can keep the kids off it long enough to actually get it painted.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
During
trick.
school.
I was gonna say, yeah, first thing in the morning on a school day.
Yeah, more than likely that'll be when it is.
That's like the skate park. They were sitting there waiting for it to be done.
That was so cool.
Yeah, so when we put something in and it's that appreciated, that is very gratifying.
So, they seem to be enjoying it out there. The guys finished, and within 24 hours, we had to get that basketball goal set up out there. There were individuals over there enjoying it, so.
If you else, you put them in nice,
Yep.
Since we're talking that area, that guardrail that's over there by the
Over there.
the oil pipes and stuff, are we getting that bid out to get that replaced and fixed?
Because the pylons that are behind that, the steel encased, pylons that are there, that were around the oil, tanks that are there, the battery that's there, at this point, we weren't going to do anything additional with the guardrail, because the guardrail obviously didn't stop the last vehicle. It was those pylons that did it.
We just gonna take that off then?
So we'd already removed the piece
Yeah.
that was sitting at a funny angle.
Okay, good, I have.
So that has been removed and taken out of there.
Is
And
there
at
a
this
reason
point,
for the additional expense?
well, that's kind of where I was at. So at this point, I had not gotten together with anybody. It would probably be the same company that did the work on the bridge for us, is who TLM Contractors is probably who I could get a price from on that.
but at this point, I didn't see much purpose in moving forward with that. So if the board wants me to pursue that, I'd be happy to, but at this time, I wasn't planning on it.
Do we need reflectors on that, those poles over there to, where is it visible enough?
That might be helpful.
We potentially could do that, we didn't have any kind of reflectors on the guardrail,
Okay.
so I don't know.
With that stop sign, you're going northbound, or likely to just blind in the corners.
That's correct.
That's what happened before.
Yeah, that's why you guys put up the stop sign again. It's like, oh!
Well, everybody was, I mean, it was a runway. It wasn't, and I had to make complaints, so I just asked David to grab the stop sign back up and flag it, and I had complaints. Plus, it was hard looking to the right, going northbound, because.
Yeah.
Threw me off. I just got used to not stopping.
Yeah.
We put it back. For about 2 weeks, I stopped, just because I was used to it. And I finally got used to not stopping, and then one day, all of a sudden again.
And then Scott stopped.
Well, those, metal posts are pretty solid. I like to suggest putting some reflector tape on.
I think that's a good idea.
It would cause a lot of injuries to hit that.
Is that on Anadarko's?
I believe so. I don't know who did it, that's from Anadarko well right there, I think so.
It is. When we met out here to decommission the tank by Rogers Farm, I looked across the road and I asked Nathan Kaiser, who was from Anadarko, and his crew, to fix it. He laughed, he goes, "That's yours, not mine." But the ballards were are.
That's
So we can do that, I can arrange for some reflective tape.
They
Yeah, that wouldn't cost much.
They might just do it for us. Sorry.
It might prevent something.
I did talk to David about putting some on our side by the lift stations, because those are, they bother me. If someone ever hits that 32.5 for that main lift station.
That's a good point, too.
So we're looking at that.
Put some bollards there.
Something to say.
Right at that corner there, yeah.
I don't have anything else, Mr. Mayor.
Does anybody have any comments or questions for Mr. Brand?
Thank you, David.
Okay, next we have our esteemed attorney, who is hiding behind somebody, I can't see her.
Actually, she's at her son's school play tonight. He had the lead role, and she wanted to be excused, and her family's doing it, her parents. And that's good. I did talk to her today. As you can see in her report, she's worked on a number of things. I want to mention a couple of these in my report coming up now. If you have anything for me to pass on, I'd be happy to.
I don't.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Next we have the town manager.
I already walked over to the chief and put work director reports. I'll do my own. Couple of updates in the back of my report on the second page. Received the report from Illinois Department of Geotech on the soil sample for the Veterans Memorial. I said to Dave, it's not really telling me a lot. It's kind of a template. So I'm going to call Dave Leafgren tomorrow from Illinois Colorado Geotech and have a conversation about what the report is actually telling me. And I'm also working with Eric Bornland's cousin, I can't think of his first name, I think it's Steve. He's a structural engineer. And I talked to him already beforehand. He said, once you get your soil sample, call me back and we'll talk about what really is needed up there for long-term stability for your memorial wall. So that's what we'll do tomorrow. So that came out on Friday. You heard about the TBK Bank. Mary and I was driving around with $1 million in the car last week. Until she put in the bank. And as I indicated, to my surprise, college trust rates have gone up. They're at 1.29 collectively in there. And I did agree to double check that. So they may even seem to write a little bit more. So we're monitoring that on a regular basis. Because they're making more now college trust than they were in the CDs. Two of the CDs were 0.9 and two CDs were 1.25. So we're going to look at that, and speaking of that, I'm working on the investment policy. I talked to Larry offline a couple times about this, and I'll be presenting it for January. I'm not sure which meeting yet. And along with that, I've talked to Kinder also today about the longevity policy. And Catherine Sellers, who's in her firm, specializes, basically has to do with IRS law and defined benefit plans. We talked about the draft today. I have a call tomorrow with Catherine to discuss some details on that, because depending on how you adopt it, if it's a reimbursement plan, some things are not qualified. You can't just put retirement, you have to be medical. Educational expenses can be reimbursed, but they're taxed. Those are the details I have to work out with Catherine before I present a policy. It'll be next month before I do that. So, one idea, she said, to get around the whole thing is just pay the employees out, and they have to just do whatever with it. But I said it has to be tied to the health insurance. So that's another conversation we're gonna have tomorrow. So just to keep you informed with that. Talked to Larry, there's a phone call day today. Talked to Larry Buckendorf also from Journey Homes, as well as Kern Trick, the attorney for Farmers Independent Ditch. He put together an estimate to replace that fence and put the concrete footer in along phase 3 of the Rogers Farm. Ironically, I told Larry his estimate is higher than what the ditch company got as an estimate. He didn't know what the ditch company's estimate was on purpose. So I'm going to connect Larry, and well, he's going to work on that with Joe Schumacher from Crow Creek. And David knows Joe, I know Joe. He's a good contractor. He does good work. They just finished up doing some repairs over there. Or they're still doing some over at Rogers Farm in the retention pond, right? And over on the back side of Rogers Circle, where phase 3 and 2 touched, there was a low spot. They fixed that, they patched that, it looks nice. The water was settling in there, especially winter time, nice and old. They still have some style repairs underneath that shelter that cracks as well. So all the punch list items that Dave and Steve Harris did have or are being completed. The fence is going to be a conversation, and I'm going to just put that between the ditch and Rogers Farm. But like Kendra and I talked, we're going to go ahead and send out by the end of this week for those to call on the letter of credit. We don't have to. But if we did, at the end of the day, we have to get the 30-day notice out. So it doesn't mean we have to. But it's kind of a wake-up call. Let's push this issue. That's why I emphasized to Larry Buckendorf today from Rogers Farm. This needs to be resolved this week, at least verbally, and then have a written agreement by next week. So hopefully Journey and the ditch can resolve that issue with the fence. As far as the street lights, Larry said his partner agreed to do a 50-50 with the town. I said that's not good enough. They're what, 20 to 25,000 estimate for those 4 street lights to finish out phase 3 along Circle. He wanted me to talk to the board tonight, so I'm talking to you. I don't think it's good enough. I think 60, 40, 70, 30 is better. I told them Steve only had 5,000 spent, that's not spending it.
What was the public improvements agreement?
They were not part of the street lights, the street plan, even, it's kind of like the fence. It's weird how Rogers Farm and these 2 aspects went. The fence along the ditch did not outline the concrete footer. The Jim pumped it in anyway because he knew he needed it. The street lights were not part of the street lighting plan, but they were put in phase 1 and 2. But in the actual plan itself, those 4 lights were not in the plan. All the internal lights were. So, and Larry knows that as well. So he's willing to work with us. And I want to see if we can get more than 50-50. Because, you know, that's what, 12,000, 10,000 a piece. So, if you want me to go over 5, I need kind of your direction tonight.
Didn't you say you had a bid that was, if he gave us the money, we could do it cheaper than he could do it?
Potentially.
That's what he said last month.
Because we have a franchise agreement with XO, we probably could get that cheap.
So, instead of having them do it, can we just say, he gives us this amount of money, we can get it done?
That's what I want him to write us a check.
Yeah.
Because he can't do that. He either writes us a check or writes XO a check. So I can tell him we can get a reduced price, potentially. So, but we need those 4 street lights in there. XO, I think, told David he could put the lights on the poles on the other side of the street. Oh, that looks terrible. Let's just line them up, all the same. So we're negotiating. And the last policy I'll probably have ready for the board in January is what I'm right now calling an employee annual cost of living policy. We discussed that last week's budget. So I'm working on that as well. Some different drafts, some different ideas. I've reached out. We did a lot of online looking today, and there are policies like this, but not what we're looking for. So I'll put something together for the board to consider. So January will be a policy discussion time. Last thing I have, if any questions, is the seniors have an opportunity to go have a prime rib luncheon tomorrow in Johnstown, but Christy has her monthly coordinators meeting, so my wife and I are going to drive up there, have some prime rib for $3 a piece.
Wow.
Hey, I want to drive.
Everybody wants to drive.
Everybody wants to drive.
They need a police escort, don't they?
That's right.
We have a lot of volunteers tomorrow. I mentioned in the report, David has not received word back from Connie and Excel on where he was transformed. I'm hoping this week we get a permit, but we're now officially a month behind schedule, basically,
How,
on the footers.
how is that gonna affect our contract with the builders?
Well, it's no fault of them or us, so,
I know.
I'm not,
The
it's kind of like the
deadline.
delay of the library building, I'm not gonna fine them anything. I mean, we're gonna have to just go into May, unless we can make it that time, depending on the winter.
My biggest concern is pouring mud, single digit.
Well, the long-range forecast is optimistic for us, not for the moisture, but for building, for the concrete. And luckily, those are footers, so they can blanket those footers. So that's a possibility, they know they can do that.
The transformers on the east side of the building where the garage is?
Right by the front door to the left, by that tree, the transformer sits in those rocks. Is it 25 kW?
I think so, yeah.
So they're gonna temporarily move it away from the building, and they're gonna have Mike Evans then do this, connect the service back to the building, so that it still has power, because that's our responsibility. And then that's gonna be a temporary location, then Connie thought they'd just put a brand new one, maybe a bigger one, over in the corner of the parking lot, a little bit further west. Right where that green fence kind of encompasses the parking lot, right there in that corner. So then we'll put some bollards around to protect it. And that's the only place we can put it, unless, every foot you go, the more cost it is.
Yeah.
So we won't go too far. They said they could start doing excavation on the footers, but there'd be a lot of hand digging, that's gonna cost more money. And I said, I mentioned in my report, I've got some other change orders for you to look at next month regarding a burglary alarm, a fire alarm, a couple additional camera systems, because the senior center won't have any. And then just pull some wiring, talking to IT about what Chris, the senior coordinator, needs over there. I want to make the building, the entire building, both the community center, senior center side, a Wi-Fi hotspot, because we've had training, like Halliburton came in one year, and we didn't have any internet access for them. So those are things that are, and then lighten up that parking lot, possibly for parents and kids and ball games, that'd be kind of nice to have them. So.
Wi-Fi will help during Harvest Daze too.
Exactly. And David has talked to Telos on communications, they do work internet for town hall, we got a price from them on the cameras at the cemetery, for this veteran one. And then I talked to IT and the gentleman with, it's called low voltage, Rocky Mountain Low Voltage out of Longmont, really good guy. He was highly recommended by TCC, the contractor. And so David, he looked for plans as well. We're gonna talk to him again next month. So, a lot of things still going on in the winter time. And we're getting ready for 2018. Any questions you may have of me?
Did you want to finalize your answer to your question about the streetlights and?
I'm sorry? Oh, finally, yeah, I did.
You want to?
What if you think what do you think we can give, possibly, what did Connie say on the streetlight station?
I don't have that email in front of me right now, but I want to say that if we went the option that Troy just mentioned, as far as going across the streets, the existing power poles that are there, and just putting an arm out on those, we could light up that section. I want to say it was in the $5,000 to $7,000 range. Total, if we went across the street and didn't put new ones in that match, that are on the west side of Sturgill as it is. If we match coming down, I want to say we were in the 13 to 15 range. Our price, somewhere
between 18 and 24 in contractor price or
Think
developer
we
price.
could use
For
that as
all
a bargaining
four
chip.
or individually?
All four.
Okay.
So what I could do is, if I could from a Connie, which would be tough, because she's so busy, so I don't want to take her off the transformer.
Yeah.
But if they do 50/50 on the 25, that's number I get, 25. Then we would have enough to probably do it for 5 our cost and about 10 their cost potentially. If we get the discount rate. I don't want to go more than 5. I'm not asking the board for any money. I just told Larry I'd talk to the board. I didn't tell my dad for some more money.
I think this is one that I think I'll leave that to your discretion.
Yeah.
Be as hard-nosed as you can.
Push for 60.
Now that it's on camp, now that it's on.
I'll tell Larry to look for a board meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're looking at 10 to 20,000, the other one is 70 to 80,000 issue with the fence. This is gonna be a little bit easier to deal with. And, I'm, in a way, I'm kinda happy to just deal with Larry Buckthorpe directly, because in the past, we dealt with his associate that he always had to go to Larry to get the Q&A, and now we're actually, I feel like we're getting something accomplished. So, he said multiple times he wants to do what's best for the town and the residents, and not blemish the Journey Home's name, but yet he's still bringing business. And I said, well, sometimes that whole sentence doesn't mesh very well.
Well, he's waited till 11th hour to try to address the issues.
Well, his stance is like with the ditch, he is following the Blake Improvements Agreement like a letter of the law, and he is, because the concrete footer was not outlined anywhere. I think Jim just put it in, as, he knew it. And the survey's off, those lots are not correct, and he can prove it by the survey. So there's some standing, but I appreciate him working with us, and I want the ditches to do the same thing. So, and basically, I'm kind of mediating this whole thing the best I can with Kendra, because there are citizens. So, but that's how I'm gonna leave it till we meet again January 2nd. Friday's Christmas party for those who want to attend, up at Meadows. Simon has been wonderful, the new owner, to work with. He dropped off the key today. Mary and the ladies in the front office.
Do you eat pizza come?
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't.
No, absolutely not.
Birthday or not,
That's right.
This year's gonna be fairly short, sweet. We're gonna have the social hour beforehand. We're gonna have Nordy's barbecue. There were some comments that lasted too long last year, so we won't do wide open or big gifts exchange. I do have some employee acknowledgements to give out. And, Mayor, I think you have a speech to give or something, maybe, I'm not sure.
I defer to, Mike Cowper on that.
But,
Give it a tea, I'll get one.
it'll be nice. Mary and the ladies in the front office, they do a lot of legwork. Mary already has the meal ready for the seniors that afternoon.
Live band, take a beer.
Legworks will go up and help set up the tables and the chairs and put the decorations, so it's a nice day. And we're closing town hall. I'm sorry?
What time did you hear lunch?
Start at 11:30, the door prizes, and the meal's at 12, so about 2. And then we kind of redo the tables for that evening. Mary and the ladies and the kids can do all that. And I think 5 or 5:30. I think it's 5:30, people start showing up. Because of his policy, it's casual, and it's a bring your own beverage type of event if you want. But I have to have someone on site that's what's called a TIPS, certified alcohol trainer. And if you bring something in, leave it downstairs, and ask her for it, because he has his insurance, he has to be careful. So it doesn't change anything, just leave it with the young lady in the basement.
I thought you were gonna say the chief was gonna be at the door and you give him all your liquor.
So we bring our own liquor with it, we have to tip the lady to give us our beer back?
No, you don't pay her. You
Oh.
don't pay her. No,
Separate certification.
Tips is called it's the servers.
It's like Utah, you bring your own
Like a
bottle.
drought, dry change.
Charge it
Take it in
for,
He just said, because of his insurance is so strict, especially with alcohol anymore and rentals, there's no liability. And I said, by all means, we're gonna follow all the rules, so. And then, we'll wrap it up probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock, So,
Do I get to toss out the first drunk?
No comment, I didn't
Does anybody have
I'm not gonna be
anything?
there till 3.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So you can't talk me out.
Yeah, well, you can.
The other party's gonna do that.
We are closing the town hall party at 11, so we're all gonna be at the.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else for Troy?
Mr. Mayor, I just remembered one thing that I
Sure.
meant to mention under the wastewater report. Believe it or not, the CDPHE has said that they anticipate by December 14th that our permit will be out for public comment. So we'll see if it actually shows up. He wasn't promising anything, but he was anticipating that by December 14th, and I apologize, that came in after I'd been in my report last week, and I spaced that out when it was.
So you're optimistic about the permit?
I'm optimistic that we'll see it in the next 60 days.
Oh, you're not optimistic about what it's gonna say? Okay, okay. I've been dreading that one for years. Okay, I do have something. On River Street, there's a school bus stop by the Valley Village. And there are cars parked on either side of it, close proximity. I think we should put a no parking zone on there for the bus entering and leaving. Because that bus, half the time, cannot pull up to the curb to load the kids because of those cars. I don't know if we need to make a policy decision or whatever it is. I think we need to put signs on that, and when weather permits, maybe put lines on the street or something to denote that that is a bus loading zone.
Dave and I talked about that, and Travis, our code officer, brought it as well. You would designate maybe about a 100-foot area,
I was thinking
50 on each side of that main entrance.
at the very least, buses can turn short, but it takes a long time for the entire vehicle to move over. I mean, frankly, 100 foot on each side would be too much to me.
If I can add to your comments, the issue going on is Valley Village Management has now noticed all the residents, they have a 2-vehicle limit. So the excess parking, even though is going on River. So we plan on next month, we're gonna have a code conversation with Travis. He's got, just making up a list of items. That is one, because in the code you have parking regulations spelled out specifically, like in Bella Vista, speed signs, parking, so on and so forth. No parking across the double tree on Vasquez, blah, blah, blah. So, you by all means, but we're in total agreement, we have to have something in there. No parking between signs or whatever it's moved.
Okay.
So Carl, the officers can enforce it.
Great. I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the board, so that everybody's aware of this, and whenever we decide to act on it, we can. Does anybody have any new business or anything they want to bring up? We stand adjourned.
Thank you, everybody, have a good holiday.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Really, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to you.
You're older, but not as old as I thought I was.
You're always there, they always throw you a party.
Yeah. Well, I'm never there. I'm never there. I'm always somewhere.
I think we should.
Actually, Anna Darden talked to the party.
No, I ain't one time. Our conversation was we wanted to, yeah, I guess I was supposed to,
So you're not gonna make the party?
I can't, our company party tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we're a company.
Town. I'm sorry.
Sure, our party would be like other party animals. Come on.
We are?
Yeah. I heard you guys want to read it going.
I know. I wish I could. I'm gonna stay at the hotel.
Oh, yeah, where is it?
It's right there, Loveland.
Oh.
Well, that way you can call that or not hotel.
Yeah, I couldn't find my reader.
Make it
Happy birthday.
Yep.
That's only $100.
See you there, maybe.
That's
Happy birthday, Mike.
Oh, thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Mike.
Buy the house.
Yeah.
You probably won't be there.